भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. Yes, so text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Sri Rajo Vacha.
श्रीराजोवाच
Nishamya Deva Svabhatopavarnitam.
निशम्य देव स्वभटोपवर्णितं
Pratyah Kimtan Api Dharmaraj.
प्रत्याह किं तान अपि धर्मराज।
धर्मराज
Evam Hatagyo Vihatan Murarir.
एवं हताग्नो विहतान् मुरारे।
Naideshikair Yasya Vashe Janoyam.
नैदेशिकेर्यस्य वसे जनोऽयम्।
यस्य वशोऽयम्
Yes. Would like to read?
हरे कृष्णा। Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
Translation. King Parikshit said, "O my lord, O Shukdev Goswami, Yamraja is the controller of all living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities. But his order had been foiled when his servants, the Yamadutas, informed him of the defeat by the Vishnudutas, who had stopped them from arresting Ajamila. What did he reply?" Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that although the statements of the Yamdutas were fully upheld by Vedic principles, the statements of the Vishnudutas were triumphant. This was confirmed by Yamaraja himself. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So, see, Yamdutas were fully upheld by Vedic principles. The Yamdutas were operating according to rules. The Yamdutas were not acting whimsically. So, certainly they were doing, but the Lord is beyond the Vedas. He's beyond the Vedas. Therefore, the service of the Lord is also not falling in the rules of the three modes of nature. Therefore, Vishnu Dutas emerged triumphant. Vedanta Krit Ved Ved Eva Chaham. Krishna is the compiler of Vedas. So anything related to Krishna is superior to the Vedic knowledge. So devotional service as such is not a part of the Vedic system. Vedic system is Traigunya Vishaya. So anything transcendental is beyond the understanding of those who are too much accustomed to Vedic rules and regulations. Yamasya devasya na danda bhanga.
यमस्य देवस्य नन्दभङ्ग
कुतश्चनर्षे श्रुतपूर्व आसीत्.
कुतश्चनर्षे श्रुतपूर्व आसीत्।
आसीत्
एतन्मुने वृष्टति लोक संशयम्.
एतन्मुने वृष्टति लोक संशयम्।
न हि त्वदन्य इति मे विनिश्चितम्.
न हि त्वदन्य इति मे विनिश्चितम्।
त्वदन्य इति मे विनिश्चितम्.
O great sage, never before it has been heard anywhere that an order from Yamraj has been baffled. Therefore, I can think that people still have doubts about this, that no one but you can eradicate. Since that is my firm conviction, kindly explain the reasons for these events. Sri Shuka Uvacha.
वाच
शुक उवाच
Bhagavat Purushaya Rajan.
भगवत् पुरुषे राजन्
Yamya Prati Hatodyama.
याम्या
Yama
Patim Vidnyapayamasur.
पतिं विघ्नपयामासु
Anusura
Yamam Samyamani Patim.
यमं संयमनीपति।
Shukadeva Goswami replied, My dear king, when the order carriers of Yamaraj were baffled and defeated by the order carriers of Vishnu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamani Puri, and master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident. Yamaduta Uchu.
Yamduta
Yamaduta
Raj.
Uchu.
So,
Ati Santiha Shastaro
Kati Santi Shastaro
Santi Shastro.
Jiva Lokasya Vaya Prabho.
Jivalokasya Vaipramah.
Naivedyam Kurvatah Karma
Nividyam
Naivyam Purvatam Karma.
Phalabhivyakti Hetava.
Phala
Yatava.
Hintava.
Yes.
May I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Jai. Hare Krishna. Shra Prabhupada Ji ki Jai. Translation. The Yamaduta said, O dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamogun? Srila Purport Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the Yamadutas, the order carrier of Yamaraj, were so disappointed that they asked their master, almost in great anger, whether there were many masters other than him. Furthermore, because the Yamdutas had been defeated and their master could not protect them, they were inclined to say that there was no need to serve such a master. If a servant cannot carry out the orders of his master without being defeated, what is the use of serving such a powerless master? Thank you, Ji. Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Krishna. Yeah, so see, like in this context, like Srila Prabhupada always says that, spiritual master must be 100% Krishna conscious. The disciple can only progress as far as the spiritual master. So, of course, the context here is in material terms, but in spiritual terms, we can see it this way also. That if the spiritual master is not 100% Krishna conscious or is not self realized, the disciple will also not progress much. And that's the reason why one must be very careful in selecting a spiritual master. It cannot be on the basis of some public opinion or one's own whimsical ideas or one's own mental likes and dislikes. Spiritual master must be always on the strict authority of the Vedas and the sadhus. So, so here now, these Yamdutas, they are very much frustrated because their orders, like they had their instructions, but these instructions are baffled. Now you see the position of Yamdutas also. Yamdutas are certainly not self-realized souls. They are not certainly elevated spiritually. They are very cruel beings whose job is to torture others. So you can imagine the consciousness of the living entities who take it up upon themselves to torture others. So therefore, for them to conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is impossible. What to speak of devotional service to Him? Text 5. Yadi Swara Bhavo Loke.
Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
Prabhu. Hello, Pram. One small doubt.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, like here, see, we know that Yamaraja is a very accomplished, strong devotee. Just because they are not able to defend, that is their problem. Now, how can we? They think that their master was powerless.
Yeah, very, very interesting question, this one. Because Vishnu Dutas defeated them, and they certainly appeared much more powerful. So they thought, whoever is the master of these Vishnu Dutas must be more powerful than Yamadutas. Because their arguments are very sound. So they could not understand who's Narayan and who's this Narayan's servant who are so powerful.
So
Because they
this
had
is a
thought that
sign of
Yamaraj is. Huh?
ignorance of a disciple. I mean, we
Yes.
cannot directly blame the master only. Master must have given
No.
it is the disciple.
No, because they were never, see, no one has ever blocked Yamdutas. They are absolute masters within the universe. Whenever they are given an order to fetch a soul, they get it. And of course, actually, Yamdutas are only, their domain is only till middle planetary systems, till Bhur Mandal. They don't go to Swaha. So anyway, they have no knowledge of higher planetary systems in that sense. So they were certainly surprised to see someone stopping them from doing their job. Because according to them, they have always followed Dharma. So no one in the universe ever stops them. But here they had some very powerful personalities actually able to stop them.
Yes.
Which is based on the same question. In previous chapter, we saw Yamdutas were able to give their logic based on some spiritual knowledge to Vishnu Dutas when they were saying, okay, what kind of people do you take away? So, despite of their knowledge, this is clearly seen that their consciousness is not clear. But the question goes back to Yamraji being the one of the 12 Mahatmas. It's not possible for him to pass on the knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead to the Yamadutas. So then, why is he being questioned like that?
I didn't get your question.
So Yamraji must have passed on the knowledge of Supreme Personality of Godhead, no, being one of the 12 Mahatmas.
No. These are very low class creatures, these Yamdutas. Imagine they enjoy torturing others. Like horrible torture. Imagine someone is being made to embrace an iron form of a female. Someone is being boiled in oil. Someone is being torn from limb to limb. Someone's body is being stitched with needles. So, what kind of personalities are these? These are not the kinds who will be chanting Harinam in their free time.
Yes.
So,
So
certainly, Yamaraj cannot give them any knowledge.
So their only qualification is that they are serving a pure devotee. That's the only qualification. Otherwise, they are very nasty people.
Yeah. So, it's also mentioned somewhere, I don't know, I think it's Garuda Purana or somewhere, that those who have no sons, to offer them Pindadan, they become Yamdutas. So imagine, like a son who cannot offer the Pindadan is also in the same category. So, so there will be like a big queue of people willing to join this Yamdutas ranks. Big recruitment drive.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I also on the same line.
Hmm.
Two questions after this statement.
Yes.
He's Mahajan, very elevated soul, right?
Yeah.
So all these Yamdutas may be doing the nasty things, etc. But it must be on the direction of the क्या नाम है अपना? So because he must be deciding this person is to give this punishment, this person to give this punishment. Tomorrow they cannot take send anybody anywhere else.
Yes.
So how that why is it cut off? Because they are the servants of Yamduta, they are the servants of Yamraj. And Yamraj is very elevated soul. How can they cut off like they may be feeling discontented that they were deprived of opportunity. But they cannot say anything to Yamraj because Yamraj is a very great Mahajan. They should punish for this attitude. That means they want to do what they want to do. They don't want to go through the procedures.
Now, here is a very interesting thing that they have been stopped from doing their duty. So, not only angry, they are very surprised because no one has ever stopped Yamaraj's servants. They don't go willy-nilly everywhere.
But Yamaraj agreed with them. If what Sudhir was correct. So maybe it was later. Maybe Yamaraj is responsible to the extent that he had not trained his juniors properly. That they should be told so person can be have so much punishment and all that.
Now, one very interesting point is because this has never happened. No one has ever called out to the Lord at the time of death. No one who is deserving to go to hellish planets has ever called out the Lord. So, Ajamil was like an exception and he did it. Therefore, all these Yamdutas, they became amazed because their instructions were baffled at the very last point. Like,
right word, amazed. Amazed word, I agree.
Yeah.
But then the amazed
and they were
means,
also,
but doesn't mean they can question the Yamaraj. Yamaraj is saying no, because they are the devotee of Vishnu. So this person is exempted from all punishments, etc. They can be amazed. I agree. Quite agree. How did this happen? But they can question
Hmm.
Yamaraj.
Well, they are actually, because they are very surprised. They are angry also. See, they are in the mode of ignorance. These creatures are like very low consciousness creatures. So anger is always their part. I mean, that's how they torture people also. So they were now angry at their own master.
Another person will in my mind for come some time. Then we
Hmm.
know that when one dies, his soul goes away to some other
Hmm.
body as per
Hmm.
karma, and the
Hmm.
body is burnt. What are the pindas? When you offer pinda, the pinda you offer
Hmm.
to whom then? Because आत्मा तो
Okay.
कहीं चली गई, body चल चुकी है,
हाँ,
तो ये
no, no,
क्या है?
it's not that simple. Let me explain this now that we are on this topic. So better I clarify this.
Yeah.
The soul does not immediately go to the next body. It takes 1 year. Sometimes, if the karma is pretty okay, the person has been some more or less pious, the soul will immediately get another body. If a person has been moderately sinful, moderately pious, then the soul has to go to Yamlok. So the soul takes its own time. Actually, for the first 11 days, the soul doesn't even leave the house. It is allowed to live in the house. And then after that, the journey to south begins. So this Pitralok is south of universe. In the southern direction, then this journey starts, and the living entity is taken by Yamdutas. And there, during that duration, whatever is offered as pinda, that becomes the food for the living entity who's going. The clothes which are donated to the Brahmanas become the clothes that he gets to wear in this journey. Otherwise, he's suffering from cold. He gets food which is offered to the Brahmanas at this time. So pinda which is offered reaches him. So pitras, some pitras, those who have been deserving of getting ghostly bodies, they also receive annual pinda and they during Pitra Paksh, and they also become liberated. Because there are not just one or two pitras, there are many myriads of pitras, uncles, cousins of uncles, brothers of uncles, and their sons, they are all our family.
Right. I
So
got
we
you.
have to offer pinda for that.
What I'm thinking of my father and grandmother, they are very most, but that makes it
No,
all.
there are many.
When I went to Gaya, I had this
Hmm.
ceremony, pindan, and they
Yeah.
do it very perfectly. At least I got
Yes.
one person who did very, very perfect. Maybe
Hmm.
because I come from different background. And I
Yeah,
did
they
one
do it
thing.
nicely, Gaya. Nasik also they do very nicely.
Only mistake I did it is there one Vishnu temple where one can do his own pindan. I did not know it. I would have done that also. Because these days
It's not
nobody knows.
necessary. You just chant. You chant like Ajamil.
But correct. Thank you. Thank you.
Hari Hari.
Prabhuji,
So,
Prabhuji, one more point.
yeah.
So the way I'm thinking it, that means these Yamdutas are so much attached to the way of their working. And also the second point is that regardless they are serving pure devotee, but it's the consciousness of the disciple that matters. So I remember the example that you shared yesterday, that there was someone working right under Prabhupada, but he was still stealing money from the temple. So you can be working directly with the pure soul, with the Mahatma, with the Mahajan, but yet your consciousness matters.
Yes.
इसको ऐसे ही समझे ना?
The guru will give, but the disciple should also take. Like Prabhupada was walking in Juhu Beach, I think. It was his Purushottam Prabhu. And he said, Prabhupada, please give me your mercy. Prabhupada said, my mercy is always there. You please take it.
You must know how to take it.
ठीक है जी. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That helped.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yadishur Bahavo Loke. Yeah? Yes,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu?
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this just wanted to ask related to this. You said that 1 year the soul take.
Hari Bol. अरे चले गए
Hare
डिस्कनेक्ट हो
Krishna,
गए
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sorry.
No problem.
With him at the end.
So this 1 year time takes the soul to get another body. This is this earthly 1 year that currently worldly current 1 year that which we are
Yeah.
our calculation.
Yes, yes. That's why after Barsi, after that, the Varshi or Barsi, after that we stop all the rituals. After that,
Yes.
the soul is like gone, finished, no connection left.
Okay.
I mean,
So also
technically,
in like there are other references are there in Shastra, like unless there is Dehantara happens, so unless there is a body not
Haribol,
ready, that
disconnect.
where the soul, which body will attend the soul, unless the body is not ready, the soul does not leave the body like this. Is there, Prabhuji? This reference is there.
Yeah, Garud Puran has all these references. But a devotee should not worry too much about these things. The devotee will go where Krishna wants him according to his level of consciousness. So we should be very careful, actually. We should be very, very careful that we don't fall prey to these kind of thinkings. Because if we pay attention to all these things and neglect bhakti, then we are definitely going to these destinations. Then we are definitely going to meet Yamraj and be chastised by him. So we should take bhakti very seriously. And like Ashlisya Vapadratam Pinashtumam Adrashanan Marmahata Karotua or Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavtat Bhakti Rahe Tuki Tvai. So we should try to render selfless devotional service. That should be the only objective. We should not even worry who will offer me Pindadan or which planet I'll go to. No, wherever we go, there will be Srila Prabhupada waiting to take care of us. That we should be confident of.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hari Hari. So serve him selflessly. Acharya Mam Vajaniyam. Acharya is not different from Krishna, so don't worry. Serving Prabhupada is like serving Krishna, don't worry. Yes. Yadi Syur Bhavo Loke
Okay.
Shastaro Dandadharina
Shastro
Kasya Syatam Navakasya Mrityushchamritam Evava. Yes.
Hare Krishna Vandana Pranam. Translation
Yes.
purpose. Translation. In this universe, there are many rulers and justiciars and disagree about punishment and reward. Their contradictory actions will neutralize each other and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if their contradictory acts fail to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. Purport by Sri Prabhupada. Because the Yamdutas had been unsuccessful in carrying out the orders of Yamraj, they doubted whether Yamraj actually had the power to punish the sinful. Although they had gone to arrest Ajamil following Yamraj's order, they found themselves unsuccessful because of the orders from higher authorities. Therefore, they were unsure whether there were many authorities or only one. If there were many authorities who gave different judgment, which could be contradictory, a person might be wrongly punished or wrongly rewarded, or he might be neither punished nor rewarded. According to our experience in the material world, a person punished in our court may appeal to another. Thus, the same man may be either punished or rewarded according to different judgments. However, in the law of nature, in the court of supreme personal Godhead, there cannot be such contradictory judgments. The judges and the judgments must be perfect and free from contradiction. Actually, the position of Yamaraj was very awkward in the case of Ajamil because the Yamdutas were right in attempting to arrest Ajamil, but the Vishnu Dutas had preferred that. Although Yamraj, under these circumstances, was accused by both the Yamdutas, Vishnu Dutas and Yamdutas. He is perfect in administering the justice because he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he will be pain what his real position is and how everyone is controlled by the Supreme Controller, the Personality of Godhead. Thank you for this.
Hare Krishna. Now, in this world, we see, there is a district magistrate. Above that is the High Court. Then there is the Supreme Court. There are so many courts. CBI court. Then there is the magisterial court. There are so many types of courts. And if you get punishment in one, you can always appeal to another, and some punishment will be overruled. And this kind of, contradictory judgments, because judges are not perfect. They are deciding based on the circumstances and circumstantial evidences. Therefore, the judgments are also imperfect. But in the laws of nature, these judgments are always perfect. Yamraj is as good as Paramatma. His judgment is never flawed. So there is no point in appealing Yamraj's judgment. His judgment is done. Like he is the judge and he is the dispenser. So here, Yamdutas were also under the same understanding. But now they are seeing someone who has actually contradicted Yamraj. So they're very much amazed. Like, how can there be anyone better than you? You are Dharmaraj. So is there some different authorities? And if there are so many different authorities, then what is the use of us just wandering here and there? Because any authority can neutralize any other authority. So they are now very much confused. So they are accusing Yamraj of not being powerful. Yamdutas, the Vishnu Dutas had also blamed Yamraj that, maybe he has not taken a perfect judgment in this case. But actually, Yamraj was completely all right. Yamraj dispensed punishment according to the karma of this man, of Ajamil. But Vishnu Duta saved him because he appealed helplessly to the Supreme Lord. Aham tvama sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuja. So he helplessly called out, even though not directly, but he did helplessly call out. So at that moment, the Yamdutas were already there to collect him. That means Yamraj had already decided when he actually begged for. After he would have left his body, then he could not have begged the Lord. Only in his body he had this capability to beg. So in the last remaining breaths, he called out to Narayan and he was delivered. So Yamraj is also correct. Yamdutas are correct. Actually, Yamdutas are not correct. Yamraj is correct. Vishnu Dutas are correct. And that's why Yamdutas are confused. Hare Krishna.
One the last text here only we read.
Yeah.
Yamraj does what Supreme Lord tells him. Because Supreme Lord is sitting inside everybody. So this we discussed also in the past. He's not doing it independently. And that's why nobody's got any right to challenge the judgment or the punishment.
Yes.
Paramatma
Yeah,
himself.
we read it. Yeah, previous chapter only we saw that he's as good as Paramatma.
Exactly. We discussed on this point. So this was the idea. Because Paramatma gives him the instructions, on that he implements it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kintu Shah.
Guruji.
Dandat Pranam.
Prabhuji, from whatever discussion has occurred, it looks like the Yamdutas are following the orders of Yamraj, but the Vishnu Dutas are not. They make their own decisions. Looks like it's not whether Vishnu tells them to go here or there.
They are acting as order carriers of Lord Vishnu. But because of being in Sattva Guna, they are more independent. Because they will not do anything to contradict the authority of Vishnu. They will never do anything whimsically. They are in Vishuddha Sattva. So they are practically as good as Lord Vishnu himself.
So they are empowered by the Lord. And the Yamdutas, because their consciousness is this, they are strictly following the order.
Yeah, like for example, in a university, the senior researchers are more independent in their processes. Junior researchers, junior trainees, they will be guided more strictly. The more independent, the more intelligent a person is, the more learned a person is, the more independence he has in his actions.
Hmm.
Like, this
Hmm.
district authorities, like district magistrates and all, they are given autonomy by the government. Okay,
Hmm.
you take your decisions
Hmm.
because they're considered capable. So in Narayan Dutas are certainly very much capable, Vishnu Dutas, very much capable.
Hmm.
So they are practically independent.
Hmm.
See,
Okay, Prabhuji.
going back to that same verse, Acharya Mam Vijaniyam. So because Acharya is as good as Krishna, because he's completely surrendered to Krishna. So Vishnu
Hmm.
Dutas are also completely surrendered to Vishnu. So their
Hmm.
will is the same as the will of the Lord.
Hmm. Right. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes. किंतु शास्त्र बहुत्वे स्यात्
Into the yeah.
बहुनाम इह कर्मिणाम
Bhunam yeah Parna.
शास्त्रत्वम उपचारो हि
Shastram Upacharami
यथा मंडलवर्तिनाम.
Mandalavatnam.
Yes, Vrishabhadra, you can read, bro.
I'll read. Correct. Thank you. Translation perfect. Positive and grace from Translation. The Yavadutas continue. Since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. Just as one central emperor controls different departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all the judges. Purpose. In governmental management, there may be different department officials to give justice to different persons, but the law must be one, and the central law must control everyone. The Yamadutas could not imagine that two judges would give two different verdicts in the same case, and therefore they wanted to know who the central judge was. Yamadutas were certain that Agamila was a merciful man, but although Yamaraja wanted to punish him, the Vishnudutas excused him. This was a puzzling situation that the Yamadutas wanted Yamaraja to clarify. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. But, so Yamadutas, like their consciousness is very much limited. They have no conception of the supreme. I mean, if they had that kind of conception, they would not be Yamadutas. Like to do such a gross thing, you really need to be ignorant. So therefore, they were very much baffled. That Yamduta, Vishnu Dutas could actually deliver this Ajamil, because naturally Vishnu Dutas are way more powerful than Yamdutas. They were effulgent and they were way more powerful because they are pure souls, and Yamdutas never see pure souls. So they were very much baffled to see something like that. They were like an earthworm crawling out of the ground looking at the sun. It's like that. They don't see pure souls at all. So when they saw them, they were actually very much afraid also, because they were Vishnu Dutas looked very intimidating also. Okay. Yes.
तो मुझे एक क्वेश्चन है. So looking at going through this discussion, when Ajamil listened to Vishnu Dutas, he right away got into bhakti. Like eventually he got towards pure devotion. Whereas Vishnu Duta seems to be even lower consciousness than Ajamil, that despite of listening through Vishnu Dutas, they are yet so much attached to their own way and they are questioning their own master.
I didn't get your question exactly.
मतलब कि it seems like Ajamil से भी नीचे है इनकी consciousness, no? कि Ajamil after listening to Vishnu Dutas, he went into devotional service. Like he realized, oh, वो क्या कर रहा था और क्या करना था, right? He understood he's so sinful. पर विष्णु दूता यमदूतास के केस में, though they listened to the same conversation that Vishnu Duta and Ajamil were having, yet, or Vishnu Duta or Yamdutas were having, they still had doubts and they're still questioning their own master. So उनकी consciousness तो Jamil से भी नीचे लग रही है.
है ना, they're forever living there.
ठीक है जी. बड़ी sad situation है ये यमदूतास की, despite of being so much baffled, and despite of having association of a Mahajan, it's very
Yeah,
sad
that's the position.
situation.
You saw it in fifth canto already, what kind of creatures they are.
Hmm.
That's their service also. That is their
Hmm.
service.
Hmm.
So
True.
those who have that kind of consciousness, they are given that service.
Hmm.
It's like वो हमारे material world में जल्लाद रहता है बोलते हैं ना वो the person who
हाँ,
sends the person to death.
जल्लादी हैं.
हाँ तो वो तो
ये सब जल्लादी
officially
हैं.
officially they are serving the government, so actually they are not murdering anybody. अगर
Hmm.
गवर्नमेंट के नजरिए से देखेंगे तो
Hmm.
but then yes, but they are actually killing the person na physically. They are, somebody is attempted to hang the person or cut the head, so really that their consciousness should be so when they should not have any fear or any sort of hesitation to kill.
Hmm.
Like we said, they are not consensus because they know they are doing the government order, and the hangmen are very few. Some of them are brought from different states to hang the person and all that. They're not everywhere. Everybody doesn't do it. There's some hangmen who are known for it, with the courage and everything. So despite all this TADA, etc., they are given some allowance also for each hanging. And they accept it. Because they also agree that now we're doing the job given to us by government. So they think they're not doing any part. Though it is very gross work. Very gross action.
See, even though it is not sinful, it still spoils the consciousness because it makes a person hard-hearted.
Very hard-hearted.
Because he
Very
cannot. Yeah, so such a yes, so such like like we were reading about, or if you read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the purport Srila Prabhupada is writing that even though 6 types of aggressors can be killed, still, according to higher principles of religion, one can excuse them. Arjuna is of such consciousness that he doesn't consider such kind of a revenge as his motive.
Correct.
So the principles of dharma are definitely there, but higher than dharma, there are principles of Bhagavad dharma. So Bhagavad principles are higher than standard dharmic principles, and that's why Bhagavatas, Mahabhagavats are very dear to Lord. Okay. So any questions or comments anymore?
Prabhuji, so this service of the Yamdutas, because they are serving a Mahajan, that must be purifying them also, no? In some degree.
To some degree, but yeah, to some degree, I don't know. Actually, I haven't read any scripture which talks about the destination of Yamadutas, what happens to them. But that must be like there must be some time scale for them also. It's not that they'll be forever Yamadutas only. So maybe it's a lesson for them, seeing others suffer.
Like for the
But I don't
Bhutas and
know.
like the Bhutas and the Pichachas, Lord Shiva is doing something for them, taking care of them for their elevation. I think Yamraj is taking their responsibility. Definitely, they will be also getting elevation to higher systems.
Shiva is a Mahajan. Yavraj is also Mahajan. So they can be exchanging notes. इनको ले लो ये अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं. Very interesting.
But as we are discussing, definitely such type of consciousness beings are required to impart such harsh punishment. A sober and soft-hearted person will not be able to implicate such punishments on anybody. So definitely such type of lower ignorance and hard-hearted people are also required. But only thing is they are engaged by the service of they are engaged in the service of a nice devotee, pure devotee. So they will be taken care of.
And two things, Guruji. One is the ordering the punishment, and the execution of the punishment. Both are very ghastly. But the executing is very, very ghastly affair. Because sometimes we do take before the firing squad. Firing squad has to do the job.
So here, so even though this is according to standard principles of morality, there is no sin associated with such activities, it still spoils our consciousness. So Bhagavatas or Vaishnavas avoid such situations. Okay. So we stop here today. We continue tomorrow with this chapter. Okay, very instructive, very interesting one. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you all the devotees.
Thank you.
Krishna.
Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Pranam.